Craving a beautiful space that feels calming yet doesn't drain your wallet? You're not alone. With rising living costs and smaller living spaces, many of us are looking for smart, sustainable ways to transform our homes into peaceful retreats. That's why in today's video, I'm sharing my full Japandi apartment makeover for 2025, filled with creative DIY projects and upcycled solutions that prove you can achieve a minimalist, elegant look on a small budget. Whether you're furnishing your first apartment, updating a tired space, or just inspired by sustainable living, I'm walking you through every decision, every makeover moment, and every piece that brought this Japandi home to life. Let me start with a little background about my channel and what drives this project. I'm passionate about creating spaces that are both beautiful and accessible. Interior design doesn't have to mean expensive furniture or massive renovations. With the right mindset and some creativity, anyone can turn even the smallest, most overlooked space into something deeply personal and serene. That's what I love about Japandi, a fusion of Japanese simplicity and Scandinavian functionality. It's a style rooted in mindfulness, where every piece has purpose, and every surface invites calm. What makes this makeover even more exciting is that it leans into DIY and upcycled methods to bring Japandi principles to life without splurging. The Japandi style thrives on less, not as a limitation, but as a way to make room for clarity and calm. It's characterized by clean lines, muted earthy tones, natural textures like light wood, linen, and clay, and a purposeful blend of form and function. It invites nature indoors without being overly decorative, and embraces the idea that imperfections and aging can add soul to a space. In preparing for this apartment makeover, I knew I wanted to stick closely to those values: simplicity, sustainability, and warmth. Every piece of furniture, every detail, had to tell a story. Let's talk about the living room transformation. When I first moved in, the space felt cold and cluttered, filled with mismatched furniture that didn't reflect the peaceful home I was hoping for. The sofa was bulky and dated, the coffee table was oversized, and there wasn't a clear flow to how the room worked. So I set out to reimagine the entire layout using DIY hacks and upcycled pieces. The first project was repurposing a vintage sofa frame I found secondhand. Its bones were solid but hidden under old upholstery and dust. After sanding down the frame and sealing the wood with a matte finish, I created new linen cushions in a soft beige tone, instantly transforming it into a Japandi-worthy centerpiece. The lines were low and clean, and the neutral fabric gave the entire space a sense of quiet elegance. Next came the coffee table. I wanted something minimal and functional, but also something with a story. I used reclaimed wood planks from an old bench, cut them to size, and mounted them onto slim black metal legs. The result was a sturdy, beautiful table with a warm, organic texture. It wasn't perfect, and that was the point. It showed knots, slight curves, and the history of the material, embracing the wabi-sabi principle that perfection isn't the goal. Nearby, I upcycled a set of wooden crates into open shelving, lightly painted the inside with a soft clay tone, and used them to store books, a few plants, and essentials like blankets and candles. The living room slowly evolved into a cohesive, breathable space. Every item, from the soft area rug made of natural jute to the hand-thrown ceramic vases on the shelf, helped underline that Japandi doesn't shout for attention. It gently invites you in. Lighting played a big role in the mood, so I added warm-toned LED lamps and swapped out the overhead fixture with a hand-wrapped paper shade that casts a soft ambient glow. Even in the city, this room now feels like a retreat, a place to unwind, to breathe, to simply be. Moving into the bedroom, I knew I wanted to extend that same calm, organic feeling. Japandi bedrooms are all about intentional simplicity. The bed was an old platform frame I reinforced with reclaimed slats, and instead of buying a new headboard, I created one using salvaged bamboo fencing trimmed and treated to bring out its natural grain. It gave the room texture and a sense of groundedness without overwhelming the space. For bedside tables, I took 2 wooden crates, sanded them smooth, and wrapped the tops with natural linen. Simple drawer knobs turned them into functional nightstands that hold small lamps, books, and essentials. The linens were also carefully chosen. Stone-washed cotton in soft gray with a few off-white accents kept things neutral but cozy. Storage is often overlooked in minimalist spaces, but Japandi teaches us to store beautifully. I used woven baskets under the bed to hold clothes and accessories, letting natural materials double as decoration. Lighting remains soft and indirect. Mostly from a vintage floor lamp I rewired myself and a few glass tea light holders placed on window ledges. And because Japandi is about the relationship between indoors and nature, I added a few potted plants. A snake plant, a small ficus, and some trailing vines placed high on repurposed wall shelves made from old planks and iron brackets. Through all these changes, I was conscious not just of how things looked but how they felt. The tactile experience of soft fabrics, the quiet click of a wooden drawer, the way natural light falls on a textured surface. These are the sensory details that turn a house into a sanctuary. But beyond design, this project has also been about living sustainably. Every time I chose to reuse rather than buy, I saved money and resources. I sourced most materials from thrift shops, community swaps, or repurposed items I already had. The total cost for this transformation? Just a few $100s. No massive spending. No trendy fast furny. This entire process taught me that sustainable design isn't a sacrifice, it's a lifestyle. By embracing creativity, repurposing what we already have, and focusing on what truly matters, we can create homes that are not just aesthetically pleasing, but emotionally grounding. A Japandi home isn't just about looks. It's about how it supports your daily life, how it makes you feel, and how it connects you to the world in a quieter, more intentional way. Thank you so much for following along on this Japandi apartment tour. I hope it gave you ideas and inspiration for your own home, whether you're working with a tiny studio or a larger space. If you're starting your own low-cost Japandi journey, I'd love to hear about it. What are you repurposing? What's your favorite DIY trick? Let's share ideas and build a community around sustainable, beautiful living. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell for more room tours, design tips, and affordable home transformations. More exciting projects are coming soon, and I can't wait to take you along for the ride. Until then, remember, good design doesn't have to cost a fortune. It just takes intention, creativity, and a little love.